Are you tired of feeling disconnected from those around you? Do you wonder why meaningful relationships seem just out of reach? In this video, we're diving deep into a critical issue that might be sabotaging your connections without you even realizing it. If you've ever felt isolated despite your efforts, you need to watch this till the end. We're about to reveal powerful insights that could transform the way you relate to others and bring you closer to the life you truly desire. Stay with us, because your journey to deeper, more fulfilling relationships starts right now. Imagine you're at a social gathering, surrounded by people engaged in lively conversations, yet you find yourself standing on the outskirts, feeling invisible. You try to join in, but the moment you speak, there's an awkward silence. Why does this keep happening? The answer might be closer to home than you think. Arrogance. Arrogance is a silent barrier that isolates you from others. It's a force that pushes people away, often without you realizing it. At its core, arrogance stems from an inflated sense of self-importance. When you believe you know more, are better than others, or are inherently superior, it seeps into your interactions, creating an invisible wall between you and those around you. Let's dig deeper. Arrogance can manifest in subtle ways. You might interrupt someone mid-sentence, assuming what you have to say is more important. This not only stifles their voice, but also signals that you don't value their perspective. Over time, people notice this pattern. They begin to feel disrespected and undervalued, choosing to distance themselves from you. Think about the last time someone interrupted you or dismissed your opinion. How did it make you feel? Probably frustrated, small, and unimportant. Now, imagine if you unknowingly made others feel this way regularly. The result? A growing emotional distance that slowly erodes the foundation of your relationships. Arrogance also shows up in non-verbal cues. Crossed arms, an upturned chin, or a dismissive wave of the hand can all convey a sense of superiority. These subtle signals can be more powerful than words. They create an atmosphere of tension and discomfort, making others wary of approaching you. Consider the impact of this in a professional setting. Imagine you're part of a team working on a critical project. Collaboration is key, but your arrogance clouds your ability to listen and consider others' ideas. You insist on your approach, dismissing alternative viewpoints. Initially, colleagues might attempt to share their insights, but repeated brushes with your arrogance lead to withdrawal. They stop contributing, not because they lack ideas, but because they feel their contributions are unwelcome. This not only isolates you, but also stifles creativity and innovation within the team. In personal relationships, arrogance can be even more damaging. Friendships and romantic relationships thrive on mutual respect and understanding. When arrogance seeps in, it creates an imbalance. Your partner or friend might feel they're constantly playing second fiddle, their opinions and feelings overshadowed by your inflated sense of self. This dynamic breeds resentment and distance. They might stop sharing their thoughts and feelings, leading to a communication breakdown. Reflect on the last disagreement you had with a close friend or partner. Did you genuinely listen to their perspective, or were you more focused on proving your point? Arrogance blinds you to the validity of others' experiences and emotions, causing you to miss out on deeper, more meaningful connections. Arrogance also prevents you from admitting mistakes. In a world where vulnerability is seen as a strength, arrogance keeps you trapped in a facade of perfection. Admitting you're wrong or don't have all the answers is a powerful way to build trust and connection. It shows you're human, approachable, and willing to grow. However, arrogance makes you cling to your pride, even at the expense of genuine connection. Consider the last time you made a mistake but refused to acknowledge it. How did it affect your relationship with the person involved? Likely, it created a rift. They might have felt unheard, undervalued, and disrespected. Over time, these unacknowledged mistakes accumulate, forming a barrier that becomes harder to dismantle. Furthermore, arrogance breeds a culture of fear rather than respect. People around you may feel intimidated, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid your judgment. This fear stifles open communication and authentic interaction. Instead of being themselves, people put up walls, sharing only what they think you want to hear. This superficial interaction leaves you feeling even more isolated, as you crave genuine connections, but only receive filtered, guarded responses. To break free from the isolation caused by arrogance, start with self-awareness. Pay attention to how you interact with others. Do you dominate conversations, interrupt, or dismiss alternative viewpoints? Are your non-verbal cues sending the wrong message? Self-reflection is the first step towards change. Next, practice empathy. Make a conscious effort to listen actively. Put yourself in others' shoes and genuinely consider their perspectives. Show appreciation for their contributions, even if they differ from your own. This not only validates their experiences, but also opens the door to richer, more meaningful interactions. Embrace vulnerability. Don't be afraid to admit when you're wrong or when you don't have all the answers. This humility not only strengthens your relationships, but also fosters a culture of mutual respect and trust. Lastly, seek feedback. Ask those around you how they perceive your behavior. This can be a difficult step, as it requires you to confront uncomfortable truths. However, honest feedback is invaluable in breaking down the walls of arrogance and fostering genuine connections. Arrogance is a powerful isolator, but it doesn't have to define your interactions. By cultivating self-awareness, empathy, and humility, you can dismantle the barriers and build bridges to deeper, more fulfilling relationships. Your journey to transformation begins with the choice to see and value others as equals. The path to connection is paved with respect, understanding, and a genuine appreciation for the diverse perspectives that enrich our lives. Having explored how arrogance can build silent barriers that isolate you from others, let's delve into another critical aspect: the erosion of trust. Trust is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship. Without it, connections become fragile and superficial. Arrogance is a silent killer of trust, undermining relationships in subtle but profound ways. Trust is built on reliability, honesty, and mutual respect. When arrogance takes over, it skews these foundational elements. Imagine a scenario where a colleague or friend confides in you about a personal or professional challenge. Instead of offering support or empathy, you respond with indifference or condescension, perhaps belittling their issue as insignificant compared to your own experiences. This dismissive attitude not only hurts the other person, but also signals that you are not a trustworthy confidant. Think about the last time you shared something deeply personal with someone, only to have it brushed off or minimized. How did it make you feel? Likely it left you feeling exposed and undervalued. When this happens repeatedly, the implicit message is clear: your feelings and experiences are not worthy of serious consideration. This erodes trust and creates an emotional distance that is hard to bridge. Arrogance also fosters an environment of dishonesty. When you consistently portray yourself as infallible, others may feel compelled to withhold their true thoughts and feelings to avoid confrontation or judgment. This dynamic creates a culture of deceit where people tell you what they think you want to hear rather than the truth. Over time, this lack of honesty chips away at trust, leaving you isolated in a bubble of your own making. Consider a workplace scenario where a leader, driven by arrogance, dismisses feedback and criticism. Team members, fearing repercussions, start to sugarcoat their input or refrain from sharing it altogether. This not only stifles growth and innovation, but also creates a veneer of trust that is easily shattered. The leader might believe they are respected and trusted, but in reality, they are surrounded by a facade maintained by fear and compliance. In personal relationships, arrogance can be equally damaging. Imagine a romantic relationship where one partner always assumes they know best, dismissing the other's opinions and feelings. This creates a power imbalance where the less dominant partner feels unheard and undervalued. Over time, this leads to a breakdown in communication and trust. The relationship becomes strained as one partner withdraws emotionally, no longer willing to share their true self with someone who consistently undermines them. Reflect on the dynamics of your close relationships. Are there moments where your need to be right or superior has overshadowed the need for honest and open communication? Arrogance blinds you to the nuances of your interactions, causing you to miss out on the genuine trust that underpins deep connections. Another way arrogance destroys trust is through inconsistency. When arrogance drives your actions, you may prioritize your own interests and desires over commitments and promises made to others. This creates a pattern of unreliability where people cannot depend on you to follow through. Trust is built through consistent actions over time. Each broken promise or neglected commitment adds to a growing sense of disappointment and distrust. Think about a time when someone broke a promise to you. It likely left you feeling let down and skeptical of their future commitments. Now, consider how often you might have unknowingly done the same to others. Arrogance blinds you to the impact of your actions, creating a cycle of mistrust that pushes people away. Moreover, arrogance prevents you from acknowledging and learning from your mistakes. Admitting a mistake requires humility and a willingness to be vulnerable. When arrogance rules, you may deflect blame, make excuses, or simply ignore the error. This not only damages your credibility, but also signals to others that you are not accountable for your actions. Trust thrives in an environment where people can rely on each other to be honest and accountable. Arrogance erodes this foundation, leaving relationships unstable and superficial. Consider the last time you made a mistake but failed to own up to it. How did it affect your relationships with those involved? Likely it created tension and mistrust. Over time, these unresolved issues accumulate, forming a barrier that becomes increasingly difficult to dismantle. To rebuild trust shattered by arrogance, start with accountability. Acknowledge your mistakes and take responsibility for your actions. This demonstrates maturity and a genuine commitment to change. Next, practice humility. Show others that you value their perspectives and experiences. This fosters an environment of mutual respect where trust can flourish. Consistency is key. Follow through on your commitments and be reliable in your actions. Trust is not rebuilt overnight, but through consistent, trustworthy behavior over time. Lastly, foster an environment of open and honest communication. Encourage feedback and be receptive to it. This not only helps you grow, but also signals to others that their voices matter. Arrogance is a powerful toxin that can erode trust and isolate you from meaningful connections. By cultivating accountability, humility, and consistency, you can begin to repair the trust that has been damaged. Your journey towards rebuilding trust and deeper connections starts with the choice to value honesty and respect in all your interactions. The path to authentic relationships is paved with trust, built one step at a time through genuine, respectful engagement. As we delve further into the impact of arrogance, it's essential to explore how it impedes empathy, a cornerstone of human connection. Empathy allows us to understand and share the feelings of others, fostering deeper bonds and mutual support. Arrogance, however, acts as a barrier to this fundamental human experience, isolating you further from those around you. Empathy requires you to step outside your own perspective and genuinely consider the emotions and experiences of others. When arrogance is in play, this becomes a monumental task. Arrogance centers your focus on yourself, diminishing your capacity to recognize and validate others' feelings. This lack of empathy can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts, driving a wedge between you and those you care about. Imagine a friend comes to you with a problem. Instead of listening and offering support, you immediately compare their issue to something you've experienced, downplaying their feelings in the process. While your intent might be to offer perspective, what you're actually doing is invalidating their emotions. Over time, this pattern erodes the emotional intimacy that empathy fosters, leaving your friend feeling isolated and unheard. Consider the last time you needed someone to simply listen to you. How did it feel when they dismissed your concerns or shifted the focus back to themselves? It likely left you feeling unsupported and alone. This is the impact arrogance has on your relationships. It stifles empathy, leaving others feeling emotionally neglected. Arrogance also leads to a lack of patience and understanding. When you're convinced of your own superiority, it's easy to become frustrated with others who don't meet your expectations. This impatience can manifest in harsh judgments or dismissive attitudes towards others' struggles or mistakes. Instead of offering support or understanding, you might criticize or belittle them, pushing them away. Think about a time when you were learning something new and struggling with it. Now imagine if, instead of receiving patience and encouragement, you were met with impatience and criticism. This response not only demotivates you, but also damages your trust in the person providing feedback. Arrogance blinds you to the importance of patience in fostering growth and understanding, both in yourself and in others. Furthermore, arrogance can create an environment where others feel unsafe, expressing their true thoughts and feelings. When you consistently prioritize your own views and dismiss others, people become hesitant to share openly. This fear of judgment or dismissal stifles open communication, leading to superficial interactions. Over time, this lack of genuine dialogue erodes the foundation of empathy, leaving relationships hollow and unfulfilling. Reflect on the dynamics within your closest relationships. Are there moments where your need to assert your perspective has overshadowed the need to understand and validate others? Arrogance creates a barrier to empathy, preventing you from fully connecting with those around you. Another way arrogance hinders empathy is by fostering a sense of entitlement. When you believe you deserve more respect, attention, or admiration than others, it skews your perception of their needs and feelings. This entitlement leads you to prioritize your own desires over the well-being of those around you, creating an imbalance in the relationship. Over time, this dynamic breeds resentment and emotional distance. Consider a scenario where you consistently expect your needs to be met first, dismissing the needs of others as less important. This entitlement not only alienates those around you, but also fosters a one-sided relationship where empathy is absent. To the people on the receiving end, it feels like their needs and feelings are perpetually overlooked, leading them to withdraw emotionally. To counteract the empathy erosion caused by arrogance, start by actively practicing active listening. When someone shares their thoughts or feelings with you, focus on understanding their perspective without immediately jumping to your own experiences or opinions. This demonstrates respect and a genuine interest in their well-being. Cultivate patience and understanding. Recognize that everyone has their own struggles and pace of learning. Instead of judging or criticizing, offer support and encouragement. This fosters a more empathetic and compassionate environment where people feel safe to express themselves. Challenge your sense of entitlement. Remind yourself that everyone's needs and feelings are equally important. Practice humility by putting others' needs before your own at times, showing that you value and respect their experiences. Foster open and honest communication. Create a safe space where others feel comfortable sharing their true thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. This not only strengthens empathy, but also deepens the emotional connection within your relationships. Arrogance is a formidable barrier to empathy, isolating you from the rich, meaningful connections that empathy fosters. By actively listening, cultivating patience, challenging entitlement, and promoting open communication, you can break down these barriers. Your journey towards deeper empathy and connection begins with the choice to value and understand the experiences of others. Having delved into how arrogance erodes empathy, let's turn our attention to another critical area where arrogance wreaks havoc: teamwork. Effective collaboration is the bedrock of success in both professional and personal spheres. However, when arrogance seeps into your interactions, it can severely undermine the spirit of cooperation, leaving you isolated and your teams dysfunctional. Collaboration thrives on the free exchange of ideas, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to common goals. Arrogance disrupts this delicate balance by introducing a toxic mix of superiority and inflexibility. When you believe your ideas are inherently better than those of your teammates, it stifles creativity and innovation. Others may feel their contributions are undervalued or ignored, leading to frustration and disengagement. Picture a team meeting where ideas are being brainstormed. If you consistently dominate the conversation, dismissing others' suggestions without genuine consideration, you create an environment where people feel their voices don't matter. Over time, this leads to a lack of participation, as team members become reluctant to share their ideas, knowing they will be met with arrogance and dismissal. This not only hampers the team's productivity, but also isolates you from potentially valuable insights. Consider a time when you were part of a team and felt your ideas were consistently overlooked. How did it affect your motivation and sense of belonging? Likely, it led to feelings of frustration and disengagement. Arrogance blinds you to the collaborative spirit necessary for effective teamwork, causing you to miss out on the diverse perspectives that drive innovation and success. Arrogance also fosters an environment of competition rather than collaboration. When you view your teammates as competitors rather than partners, it creates a toxic atmosphere where the focus shifts from achieving common goals to proving individual superiority. This competitive mindset undermines trust and cooperation, essential elements for effective teamwork. Think about a project where team members were more focused on showcasing their individual achievements than working together towards a common objective. This divisive approach not only slows progress, but also creates an environment of tension and mistrust. Arrogance fuels this competitive fire, isolating you further as others see you as a rival rather than a collaborator. Moreover, arrogance leads to poor conflict resolution. In any collaborative effort, disagreements are inevitable. However, when arrogance is at play, conflicts are often exacerbated rather than resolved. An arrogant attitude can make you inflexible, unwilling to consider others' viewpoints or find common ground. This rigidity not only prolongs conflicts, but also creates lasting rifts within the team. Reflect on the last disagreement you had within a team setting. Were you more focused on asserting your position than finding a mutually beneficial solution? Arrogance blinds you to the importance of compromise and understanding in resolving conflicts, causing you to miss opportunities for growth and collaboration. Another way arrogance sabotages teamwork is by discouraging constructive feedback. A healthy team dynamic thrives on open communication and continuous improvement. However, when arrogance prevails, it creates a barrier to honest feedback. Team members may hesitate to provide input or constructive criticism, fearing a negative or defensive reaction. This lack of feedback stifles growth and improvement, both for the team and for you as an individual. Consider a time when you received feedback that was difficult to hear, but ultimately helped you grow. Now imagine if those around you felt unable to provide such feedback due to your arrogance. This not only hinders your personal development, but also prevents the team from functioning at its best. Arrogance creates a feedback vacuum, isolating you from the insights that could drive improvement and success. To counteract the negative impact of arrogance on teamwork, start by embracing humility. Recognize that everyone has valuable contributions to make, and be open to hearing and considering diverse perspectives. This fosters an inclusive environment where all team members feel valued and respected. Practice active listening. Make a conscious effort to listen more than you speak during team discussions. This not only shows respect for others' ideas, but also encourages more open and dynamic exchanges. By valuing others' input, you build a stronger, more cohesive team. Encourage a collaborative mindset. Shift your focus from individual achievements to collective success. Celebrate team victories and recognize the contributions of all members. This fosters a sense of unity and shared purpose, essential for effective teamwork. Be open to feedback. Create an environment where constructive criticism is welcomed and valued. Show appreciation for feedback and use it as a tool for growth and improvement. This not only enhances your personal development, but also strengthens the team's overall performance. Arrogance is a formidable barrier to effective teamwork, isolating you and undermining the collaborative spirit necessary for success. By embracing humility, practicing active listening, fostering a collaborative mindset, and welcoming feedback, you can dismantle these barriers. As we continue exploring the isolating effects of arrogance, it's essential to understand how it hinders personal growth and development. Personal growth thrives on the willingness to learn, adapt, and evolve. Arrogance, however, creates a blockade, preventing you from embracing new knowledge and experiences that are vital for self-improvement. Learning requires an open mind and a humble acknowledgement of what you don't know. Arrogance, on the other hand, fuels a false sense of infallibility. When you believe you already know everything, or that your way is the only correct way, you close yourself off to new information and perspectives. This intellectual arrogance stifles growth and keeps you trapped in a narrow view of the world. Imagine a scenario where you are attending a workshop or training session designed to enhance your skills. Instead of being receptive to the new information, you approach it with skepticism and dismissiveness, convinced that you have nothing to learn. This mindset not only wastes the opportunity for growth, but also sends a signal to others that you are unapproachable and resistant to change. Over time, this attitude isolates you from valuable learning experiences and the people who could contribute to your growth. Consider the last time you encountered someone who was unwilling to learn or adapt. How did it affect your perception of them? Likely it left you feeling frustrated and disheartened. This is the impact of arrogance on personal growth. It creates a barrier to learning that isolates you from the evolving world around you. Arrogance also leads to a fear of admitting mistakes. Personal growth involves recognizing and learning from your errors. However, when arrogance dominates, admitting mistakes feels like a threat to your perceived superiority. This fear prevents you from acknowledging your shortcomings and learning from them, keeping you stuck in a cycle of repeated errors and missed opportunities for improvement. Think about a time when you made a mistake but refused to admit it. How did it impact your ability to learn and grow from the experience? Likely, it hindered your progress and isolated you from the support and guidance that could have helped you improve. Arrogance blinds you to the value of humility and personal development, causing you to miss out on the lessons that mistakes can teach. Moreover, arrogance can alienate mentors and peers who could facilitate your growth. When you project an air of superiority, it discourages others from offering advice or mentorship. People may feel that their efforts to help you grow will be met with resistance or dismissal, leading them to withdraw. This deprives you of the wisdom and insights that could accelerate your personal and professional development. Reflect on the relationships you have with mentors, colleagues, or peers. Are there moments where your arrogance has discouraged them from providing valuable feedback or guidance? Arrogance creates a self-imposed isolation that cuts you off from the supportive network essential for growth. Another detrimental effect of arrogance is the inability to embrace change. Personal growth often requires adapting to new circumstances, learning new skills, and stepping out of your comfort zone. Arrogance fosters a rigid mindset that resists change, viewing it as unnecessary or threatening. This inflexibility not only hampers your ability to grow, but also isolates you from the dynamic nature of life and work. Consider a time when you faced a significant change and resisted it due to arrogance. How did this resistance impact your ability to navigate the new situation and grow from it? Likely, it limited your potential and left you feeling stuck. Arrogance blinds you to the opportunities that change can bring, keeping you isolated in a stagnant state. To overcome the learning blockade created by arrogance, start by cultivating a mindset of curiosity and humility. Recognize that there is always more to learn and be open to new ideas and perspectives. This openness not only fosters personal growth, but also encourages others to share their knowledge and insights with you. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. When you make a mistake, acknowledge it and reflect on what you can learn from the experience. This humility not only accelerates your growth, but also builds trust and respect with those around you. Seek out mentors and peers who can challenge and support you. Be open to their feedback and guidance, and show appreciation for their efforts to help you grow. This collaborative approach fosters a supportive environment where everyone can thrive. Embrace change and view it as an opportunity for growth. Be willing to step out of your comfort zone and adapt to new circumstances. This flexibility not only enhances your personal development, but also demonstrates resilience and a growth mindset. Arrogance is a formidable barrier to personal growth, isolating you from the knowledge, experiences, and relationships that facilitate development. By cultivating curiosity, embracing mistakes, seeking mentorship, and embracing change, you can dismantle these barriers. As we continue our exploration of how arrogance isolates you, it's crucial to understand its impact on receiving feedback. Constructive criticism is a vital tool for personal and professional growth. It helps you identify areas for improvement and refine your skills. However, arrogance acts as a powerful filter that blocks this essential input, isolating you from the benefits of honest feedback. Feedback, when received openly, can be a transformative force. It provides insights into how others perceive your actions and offers guidance on how to enhance your performance. Arrogance, however, distorts your perception of feedback, making you defensive and dismissive. When you view yourself as infallible, any suggestion for improvement feels like a personal attack rather than an opportunity for growth. This defensiveness not only prevents you from benefiting from the feedback, but also discourages others from offering it. Imagine a scenario where a colleague offers you constructive criticism on a project. Instead of considering their perspective, you immediately dismiss their input, convinced that your way is superior. This reaction not only stifles your growth, but also sends a clear message to your colleague. Their opinions are not valued. Over time, this pattern of defensiveness and dismissal leads to an environment where people stop providing feedback, knowing it will fall on deaf ears. Consider the last time someone gave you feedback that you found difficult to hear. How did you react? Did you take a defensive stance or genuinely consider their perspective? Reflecting on these moments can reveal how arrogance might be blocking you from valuable insights. Arrogance creates a feedback filter that isolates you from the constructive criticism necessary for continuous improvement. Arrogance also impacts the way you deliver feedback to others. When you view yourself as superior, your feedback can come across as condescending or harsh, rather than supportive and constructive. This not only damages your relationships, but also undermines your credibility as a leader or mentor. Effective feedback should be a two-way street, fostering mutual respect and growth. Arrogance disrupts this balance, leading to a breakdown in communication and trust. Think about a time when you provided feedback to someone and they reacted negatively. Was your delivery influenced by a sense of superiority? How might a more humble approach have changed the outcome? Arrogance blinds you to the importance of empathy and respect in delivering feedback, causing you to miss opportunities for positive influence. Moreover, arrogance prevents you from seeking feedback proactively. In a healthy learning environment, individuals actively seek out feedback to understand their blind spots and areas for improvement. However, when arrogance prevails, there is a false sense of competence that discourages seeking input from others. This reluctance to seek feedback leads to stagnation, as you remain unaware of the areas where you could grow and improve. Reflect on your approach to seeking feedback. Are there times when you avoid asking for input, fearing it might challenge your self-perception? Arrogance creates a self-imposed barrier that limits your growth, isolating you from the valuable perspectives of others. Another way arrogance impacts feedback is by creating a culture of silence. When those around you perceive you as arrogant, they may avoid providing feedback altogether, fearing a negative reaction. This silence is detrimental, as it prevents you from gaining insights that could drive your improvement. It also isolates you from the collaborative spirit that fosters collective growth and innovation. Consider the dynamics within your team or social circle. Are there moments when you've noticed a reluctance to share feedback openly? This hesitation is often a direct result of perceived arrogance, creating an environment where honest communication is stifled. To overcome the feedback filter created by arrogance, start by practicing active listening. When someone offers feedback, focus on understanding their perspective rather than immediately defending your actions. This shows respect for their input and opens the door to valuable insights. Embrace a growth mindset. View feedback as a tool for improvement rather than a threat to your self-esteem. Recognize that everyone has areas for growth and that constructive criticism is a gift that helps you become better. Deliver feedback with empathy and respect. Approach feedback conversations with the intention to support and uplift rather than criticize. This fosters a positive environment where feedback is seen as a means of mutual growth. Proactively seek feedback. Ask for input from colleagues, mentors, and peers to gain a well-rounded understanding of your strengths and areas for improvement. This not only accelerates your growth, but also demonstrates humility and a willingness to learn. Arrogance is a formidable barrier to receiving and delivering constructive criticism, isolating you from the benefits of honest feedback. By practicing active listening, embracing a growth mindset, delivering feedback with empathy, and proactively seeking input, you can dismantle these barriers. Building on the understanding of how arrogance blocks constructive criticism, let's delve into its impact on emotional connections with loved ones. Emotional intimacy is the heart of deep and meaningful relationships, whether with family, friends, or romantic partners. Arrogance creates an emotional disconnect that alienates those closest to you, leaving you isolated and longing for genuine connection. Emotional intimacy thrives on vulnerability, empathy, and mutual understanding. When arrogance enters the equation, it erodes these essential components. Arrogance often manifests as an unwillingness to show vulnerability, as admitting to weaknesses or mistakes can feel like a threat to your perceived superiority. This reluctance to be vulnerable creates a barrier that prevents true emotional connection. Imagine a scenario where your partner expresses their feelings about a difficult day they've had. Instead of offering support and understanding, you respond with indifference or by downplaying their emotions, perhaps by comparing their struggles to your own perceived greater challenges. This lack of empathy and validation leaves your partner feeling unheard and unsupported. Over time, this dynamic erodes the emotional bond between you, creating a growing chasm of emotional disconnect. Think about the last time you needed someone to listen and validate your feelings. How did it feel when they brushed off your emotions or compared them to their own experiences? It likely left you feeling isolated and unimportant. Arrogance blinds you to the emotional needs of others, causing you to miss out on the profound connections that vulnerability and empathy foster. Arrogance also disrupts communication in relationships. Effective communication requires active listening, mutual respect, and the ability to express thoughts and feelings openly. When arrogance prevails, it skews communication towards a one-sided exchange where your perspective dominates. This imbalance leaves others feeling silenced and undervalued, stifling the open dialogue necessary for emotional intimacy. Consider a time when you were in a conversation and felt that your thoughts and feelings were not being heard. How did it affect your willingness to share openly in the future? Likely, it led to frustration and withdrawal. Arrogance creates a communication barrier that isolates you from the honest, open exchanges that build emotional closeness. Moreover, arrogance fosters a sense of entitlement that damages relationships. When you believe you deserve more respect, attention, or admiration than others, it skews the balance of give and take essential in healthy relationships. This entitlement leads to selfish behaviors where your needs and desires consistently overshadow those of your loved ones, creating an environment of resentment and emotional distance. Reflect on your interactions with loved ones. Are there moments where your sense of entitlement has overshadowed their needs? Arrogance creates a dynamic where emotional support becomes one-sided, isolating you from the reciprocal nature of genuine relationships. Another detrimental effect of arrogance on emotional connections is its impact on conflict resolution. Disagreements and conflicts are natural in any relationship, but resolving them requires humility and a willingness to understand the other person's perspective. When arrogance dominates, conflicts often escalate as you become more focused on being right than on finding a resolution. This rigidity not only prolongs conflicts, but also damages trust and emotional intimacy. Think about the last conflict you had with a loved one. Were you more focused on asserting your position than on understanding their feelings? Arrogance blinds you to the importance of empathy and compromise in resolving conflicts, leading to unresolved issues and emotional distance. To overcome the emotional disconnect caused by arrogance, start by practicing vulnerability. Allow yourself to be open about your feelings, fears, and mistakes. This not only fosters deeper connections, but also encourages others to be vulnerable with you. Cultivate empathy by actively listening and validating the emotions of your loved ones. Show genuine interest in their experiences and offer support without judgment. This builds emotional intimacy and trust. Balance communication by ensuring it is a two-way exchange. Encourage open dialogue where both parties feel heard and valued. This mutual respect enhances emotional closeness. Challenge your sense of entitlement by prioritizing the needs and feelings of others. Recognize that healthy relationships are built on a foundation of mutual support and respect. Approach conflict resolution with humility and a focus on understanding. Be willing to compromise and find common ground, prioritizing the health of the relationship over the need to be right. Arrogance is a formidable barrier to emotional intimacy, isolating you from the deep, meaningful connections that bring fulfillment and joy. By practicing vulnerability, cultivating empathy, balancing communication, challenging entitlement, and approaching conflicts with humility, you can dismantle these barriers. Following our discussion on how arrogance creates an emotional disconnect, let's delve into its impact on flexibility and adaptability. Adaptability is crucial for navigating life's changes and challenges. Arrogance, however, fosters a rigid mindset that resists adaptation, isolating you from growth and resilience. Adaptability requires an openness to new experiences and a willingness to change your approach when circumstances shift. Arrogance, however, cultivates a belief that your current methods and ideas are superior, making you resistant to change. This inflexibility not only hampers your ability to respond to new situations effectively, but also isolates you from the opportunities that adaptation brings. Consider a professional scenario where a new technology or method is introduced to improve efficiency. Instead of embracing this change, an arrogant attitude might lead you to dismiss it, insisting that your way is better. This resistance not only limits your growth, but also isolates you from colleagues who are moving forward and adapting. Over time, this rigid stance can leave you feeling left behind and disconnected from the evolving landscape of your field. Reflect on a time when you faced a significant change and resisted it due to arrogance. How did this resistance impact your ability to navigate the new situation? Likely, it created unnecessary stress and limited your potential for growth. Arrogance blinds you to the benefits of adaptability, causing you to miss out on personal and professional development opportunities. Arrogance also affects how you perceive and handle feedback related to change. When you are inflexible, any suggestion to alter your approach is seen as a challenge to your competence. This defensiveness creates a barrier to learning and growth, isolating you from valuable insights that could enhance your adaptability. Instead of viewing feedback as a tool for improvement, arrogance makes you see it as a threat, leading to missed opportunities for adaptation. Think about the last time you received feedback suggesting a change in your approach. Did you consider it openly, or did you dismiss it out of hand? Arrogance creates a feedback filter that blocks valuable insights, preventing you from adapting and evolving. Moreover, arrogance can lead to a stagnant personal and professional life. The world is constantly changing, and the ability to adapt is key to thriving in dynamic environments. When arrogance prevents you from embracing new ideas and experiences, you become stuck in a static state. This stagnation not only limits your growth, but also isolates you from the dynamic nature of life and work, leaving you feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. Reflect on your current situation. Are there areas where you feel stuck or stagnant? How might a more flexible approach open up new opportunities for growth and fulfillment? Arrogance creates a self-imposed barrier that limits your potential, isolating you from the vibrant possibilities that change can bring. Another way arrogance impacts adaptability is by fostering a narrow perspective. When you are convinced of your superiority, you are less likely to seek out diverse viewpoints or explore alternative approaches. This narrow-mindedness limits your understanding of the world and prevents you from seeing the full spectrum of possibilities. Over time, this limited perspective isolates you from the richness of diverse experiences and insights. Consider the value of diversity in thought and experience. How often do you seek out different perspectives and learn from them? Arrogance blinds you to the importance of diversity, creating an echo chamber where only your views are validated, further isolating you from growth and innovation. To overcome the isolation of inflexibility caused by arrogance, start by embracing a growth mindset. Recognize that change and adaptation are essential for personal and professional development. Be open to new experiences and willing to adjust your approach as needed. Cultivate curiosity by seeking out diverse perspectives and learning from them. Engage with people who have different viewpoints and experiences, and be open to the insights they offer. This not only broadens your understanding, but also enhances your adaptability. Welcome feedback as a tool for growth. Instead of viewing it as a threat, see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. This openness to feedback fosters a more adaptable and resilient mindset. Practice flexibility in your daily life. Challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone and try new approaches. This not only enhances your adaptability, but also demonstrates resilience and a willingness to grow. Arrogance is a formidable barrier to flexibility and adaptability, isolating you from the growth and resilience that come with embracing change. By cultivating a growth mindset, seeking diverse perspectives, welcoming feedback, and practicing flexibility, you can dismantle these barriers. Building on our understanding of how arrogance hampers adaptability, let's examine its detrimental effect on leadership. Authentic leadership is built on trust, integrity, and the ability to inspire and uplift others. Arrogance, however, casts a shadow over these qualities, undermining your ability to lead effectively and isolating you from your team. Effective leadership requires humility, self-awareness, and a genuine concern for the well-being of others. Arrogance, on the other hand, fosters a sense of superiority that distances you from those you lead. When you believe you are inherently better than others, it skews your interactions and decisions, leading to an autocratic style of leadership where your ideas and opinions dominate at the expense of collaboration and mutual respect. Imagine a leader who consistently disregards the input of their team, convinced that their own ideas are superior. This attitude not only stifles innovation, but also demoralizes team members who feel their contributions are undervalued and ignored. Over time, this creates a toxic environment where individuals are reluctant to share their insights or take initiative, leading to stagnation and decreased morale. The leader, isolated in their own echo chamber, becomes disconnected from the true potential of their team. Reflect on your leadership style. Are there moments where your sense of superiority has overshadowed the need for collaboration and inclusion? Arrogance blinds you to the strengths and capabilities of those you lead, causing you to miss out on the collective wisdom that drives successful teams. Arrogance also undermines trust, a cornerstone of effective leadership. Trust is built through consistency, transparency, and respect. When arrogance prevails, it erodes these elements by fostering an environment of unpredictability and fear. Team members may feel that their leader's decisions are driven more by ego than by the best interests of the group. This lack of trust leads to disengagement and a breakdown in communication, further isolating the leader from their team. Think about a time when you were part of a team where trust was lacking. How did it affect your motivation and willingness to contribute? Likely, it created a sense of insecurity and reluctance to engage fully. Arrogance creates a barrier to trust, isolating you from the authentic connections that make effective leadership possible. Moreover, arrogance hinders your ability to mentor and develop others. Authentic leaders recognize the importance of nurturing talent and empowering their team members. However, when arrogance dominates, it skews your focus towards maintaining your own status and control. This self-centered approach prevents you from investing in the growth of others, leading to a lack of development and advancement within your team. Consider the role of a mentor. Effective mentorship requires patience, empathy, and a willingness to share knowledge and guidance. Arrogance blinds you to the needs of your mentees, making it difficult to provide the support and encouragement they need to succeed. This not only limits their growth, but also isolates you from the fulfilling experience of seeing others thrive. Another detrimental effect of arrogance on leadership is its impact on decision-making. Effective leaders make decisions based on a comprehensive understanding of the situation and input from diverse perspectives. Arrogance, however, narrows your focus and leads to unilateral decision-making, often without considering the broader implications or alternative viewpoints. This not only results in poorer decisions, but also alienates those who could offer valuable insights. Reflect on your approach to decision-making. Are there times when your arrogance has led you to dismiss valuable input or make hasty decisions? Arrogance blinds you to the importance of inclusivity and thorough consideration in the decision-making process, isolating you from the collective intelligence of your team. To overcome the shadow of superiority cast by arrogance, start by embracing humility. Recognize that leadership is about serving and uplifting others, not asserting dominance. This mindset shift fosters a more inclusive and supportive environment. Cultivate self-awareness by reflecting on your leadership style and seeking feedback from others. This helps you identify areas where arrogance might be influencing your actions and allows you to make necessary adjustments. Foster trust by being transparent, consistent, and respectful in your interactions. Show that you value the input and contributions of others and prioritize the best interests of the team over personal ego. Invest in the development of your team members. Provide mentorship, support, and opportunities for growth. This not only enhances their skills and confidence, but also strengthens the overall capability and cohesion of the team. Incorporate diverse perspectives into your decision-making process. Encourage open dialogue and actively seek input from others. This inclusive approach leads to better decisions and fosters a sense of shared ownership and commitment. Arrogance is a formidable barrier to authentic leadership, isolating you from the trust, collaboration, and collective wisdom that drive success. By embracing humility, cultivating self-awareness, fostering trust, investing in your team, and incorporating diverse perspectives, you can dismantle these barriers. As we conclude our exploration of the isolating effects of arrogance, it's crucial to understand its impact on creativity and innovation. Creativity thrives in an environment of openness, curiosity, and willingness to explore new ideas. Arrogance, however, creates a mental cage that stifles this creative spirit, isolating you from the boundless potential of innovative thinking. Innovation requires a mindset that embraces risk-taking and the unknown. Arrogance, with its inherent belief in the superiority of one's current knowledge and methods, creates a resistance to new ideas and approaches. When you are convinced that your way is the best way, you close yourself off to alternative perspectives and creative solutions. This rigidity not only limits your potential, but also isolates you from the collaborative creativity that drives innovation. Consider a scenario where a team is brainstorming solutions to a complex problem. An arrogant attitude might lead you to dominate the discussion, dismissing others' ideas before they are fully explored. This not only stifles the creative process, but also discourages team members from contributing their thoughts in the future. Over time, this creates an environment where innovation is stifled and you become isolated in your own limited perspective. Reflect on a time when you were part of a creative process that felt stifled by a dominant personality. How did it affect the outcome and your willingness to participate? Likely, it led to a less dynamic and innovative result, and a sense of frustration and disengagement among the participants. Arrogance creates a creative cage, trapping you within your own ideas and isolating you from the collaborative energy that fuels innovation. Arrogance also impacts the ability to learn from failure, a critical component of the creative process. Creativity involves experimenting, taking risks, and inevitably facing setbacks. When arrogance is at play, failure is seen as a threat to your perceived superiority, rather than an opportunity for growth and learning. This fear of failure discourages experimentation and risk-taking, essential elements of innovation. Think about a creative project where fear of failure prevented you from exploring bold ideas. How did this caution impact the outcome? Likely, it resulted in a more conservative and less innovative solution. Arrogance blinds you to the value of failure as a learning tool, keeping you isolated within the confines of safe, familiar territory. Moreover, arrogance prevents you from seeking and valuing diverse perspectives, a key driver of creativity. Innovation often emerges from the intersection of different ideas and viewpoints. When you are convinced of your own superiority, you are less likely to seek out and incorporate diverse inputs. This narrow-mindedness limits the breadth of your creative thinking and isolates you from the rich tapestry of ideas that others can offer. Consider the role of diversity in fostering creativity. Are there moments where your arrogance has led you to dismiss or overlook the contributions of others with different backgrounds or experiences? Arrogance creates a barrier to the cross-pollination of ideas that drives innovation, leaving you isolated in a homogeneous bubble of your own making. Another way arrogance stifles creativity is by creating a fear-based environment. When team members feel that their ideas will be judged harshly or dismissed, they are less likely to take creative risks. This culture of fear stifles the open, exploratory mindset necessary for innovation, leading to a stagnant and uninspired creative process. Reflect on the dynamics within your creative endeavors. Are there instances where arrogance has created an atmosphere of fear and judgment? This environment not only limits the creative potential of the group, but also isolates you from the collaborative joy of shared creativity. To break free from the creative cage of arrogance, start by embracing a mindset of curiosity and openness. Recognize that the best ideas often come from unexpected places, and be willing to explore new perspectives and approaches. Encourage and celebrate risk-taking and experimentation. View failure as a valuable part of the creative process, offering lessons and insights that drive innovation. This not only fosters a more dynamic and creative environment, but also builds resilience and a willingness to explore bold ideas. Seek out and value diverse perspectives. Engage with people from different backgrounds and experiences, and actively incorporate their ideas into your creative process. This diversity of thought enriches your creative output and leads to more innovative solutions. Create an environment of psychological safety where team members feel encouraged to share their ideas without fear of judgment. This openness fosters a culture of collaboration and creative exploration, enhancing the overall innovation of the group. Arrogance is a formidable barrier to creativity and innovation, isolating you from the dynamic, collaborative energy that fuels creative thinking. By embracing curiosity, celebrating risk-taking, seeking diverse perspectives, and fostering an open, supportive environment, you can dismantle these barriers. As we've explored, arrogance can isolate you in many ways, from blocking feedback and hindering personal growth to stifling creativity and damaging relationships. The journey to overcoming these barriers begins with humility, openness, and a willingness to embrace change. By taking these steps, you can break free from the isolation of arrogance and build deeper, more meaningful connections with those around you. If you found this video helpful, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your experiences or insights in the comments below. How has arrogance impacted your life, and what steps have you taken to overcome it? Your stories and tips could inspire others on their journey. And if you're eager for more content that empowers you to lead a more connected and fulfilling life, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Join our community and stay updated with our latest videos designed to help you thrive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.